Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 144 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Busy day today. It's nice out though.
Yeah, it is nice out, and it's starting to get nice here. I'm sure it's probably already cold by you, Trevor. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it feel like fall for you guys yet? I don't know what that means necessarily for you, but
wait, so do you just go from warm to immediately cold? There's no transition period?
Yeah, so it goes from, like summertime shorts weather to wearing hoodies. We basically get like a day or two of fall, and then it goes straight to like winter. I don't want to be outside.
Yeah, because I feel like the next probably month and a half, 2 months down here, Damon, are like the best months of the year weather-wise. There's like really nice weather.
I would agree.
Yeah. So we're in this nice transition. I mean, it's still like today it's like 87 out. It's hot, but it's, yeah. So it's getting better. It's supposed to get cooler as the week goes on. So that's good news.
I'm considering shutting off my outside taps before the frost hits, to give you some context.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
we're just happy it's not 96 every day anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we had like a few 3 weeks in a row of like 90 plus every day. It was a little brutal. Miserable. Yeah. It was a little rough. So anyway,
you guys have got some stuff going on here that you need to talk about.
I'll just go first. So I talked on the last show about I had all these disparate I had 3 different reservations that were done, right? And so, one night each at Saratoga, and then a 2-nighter. And then I had, so I guess I had 4. Yeah. So I had four reservations set up. So 1 night each that I'd set up in Saratoga, and then a 2-night, wait, how many nights am I staying? Is it 3 or 4? I don't know. Anyway, I had 1 night that we were staying at Boardwalk, and I using that DVC app site that I told you guys about, I got a text that said that there was a studio available. So I hopped on real quick and I grabbed it. And so I got all my nights at Saratoga for my November trip. And I combined all of them into one reservation, so I don't have all the reservations sitting out there. I hope everybody knows you can do that if you have separate reservations like that, assuming they're the same room type and resort and all that stuff. But yeah, so I merged them all into one reservation. Now I'm good to go. Now the question is, I'm still trying to figure out. I think we've decided that we're going to buy annual passes. The thing is, I don't really want to dole out the whole amount of money right now for the annual pass. So I'm almost thinking to myself that I might just buy the tickets and then upgrade when I get there. You know what I mean? Which seems done. It's only 2 months away, but it feels like a way to almost spread out my costs,
The only thing about that too is that they said that annual pass sales were limited at the beginning here, right? So
yeah, but I think I don't think they're saying they're limited at the beginning. I think they were saying they could shut them off anytime if they wanted to.
Right.
I think that was just them covering themselves, though. I've seen a couple people ask about that when they called in, and they were like, oh, no, we're not limiting them at all. I think it's just more if they have to go back and limit capacity again. I think they're just covering themselves for that. That's all.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So
as long as you can get one, right? That's
yeah.
I would be annoyed if I showed up at the ticket booth and they were like, "Nah, we can't give you an annual pass."
No, we can't do it. Yeah, no. Yeah. From everything I've heard, it seems like I think it's just they're covering themselves. I think it's a legal thing, where they're just covering themselves in case they need to scale it back at any time. So I think technically annual passes are always had that statement in them. You know what I mean? Of they can stop selling them at any time. But it was obviously a little more prominent now because they were just starting to resell them now. So, but I mean, it seems like the math works out for me it makes more sense for me to buy the annual passes. So I'm just going back and forth trying to decide if I want to spend all the money now or if I just want to wait. But I don't know. Does that seem silly? I don't know.
No, I'm actually kind of in the same boat because we bought our tickets before annual passes were available, but No, we've done that before too. It does make sense because you pay part of it up front, and then when you get there, you're really just paying the difference between your park tickets and the annual pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it makes sense as kind of a weird deferral plan,
exactly.
I guess you could call it. Yeah.
It's not even that I need, like, it's I can pay for them. I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like spending that kind of money at the moment. I don't know why. But also I'm getting myself, and we'll actually, you know what? I'll talk about this later, but because we have this on the agenda later. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to, I keep going back and forth. Do I just buy the tickets now? Do I buy the annual passes now? And I don't know. I keep going back and forth. It almost just feels good to just get it out of the way and just buy it now. But so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so I'm good to go for my my November trip, my little brief November trip, and now my only goal, and I said this I think on the last show, is to get a reservation at Space 220. That's the only thing I care about now. So after that, whatever else happens. I haven't even gotten any other dining reservations. Like Becky said to me on the Discord, she was like, "Oh, you should try to book this and try to book that," and I'm like, I haven't even thought of any dining for this trip at all. Like, besides Space 220 is the only thing that's in my head. So I haven't thought about anywhere else we're going to eat any of the other times. So we'll have to see what happens. But Damon, I know you also were on, stalking the website to try to get a Hilton Head reservation.
Yeah, I did. I got it for Friday and Saturday night. So we're going over Columbus Day weekend. I did not see a day yet for Sunday. So it doesn't really matter too much for me. I mean, if we get home a day earlier, there's tons of things we can do right a day to kind of relax before we have to go back to work and school. So it's not the end of the world, but I'll kind of keep my eye on it and see. We have a 2-bedroom. It's expensive though. I just forgot how expensive, 2 bedrooms were. it's 59 points on the weekend at Hilton Head.
Well, it's a holiday weekend too, so it's probably even higher.
Holiday weekend as well. So, we were lucky because we were sitting on a ton of points. I still have my Disney reservation for November as well. Yeah. I didn't cancel it yet because I'm going to just flip those into RCI. Like for me, I don't care if I have RCI points instead of bank Disney points. It's irrelevant. So we're going to hold ours until probably mid-October. And then if we decide we're not going, then flip it. I don't think we'll go, but there has been some, optimism in the shots for under 12. So if that changes, then it is a possibility that we may go. I still don't know though, because it's going to be pretty packed regardless on Thanksgiving. So I doubt it, but we'll see what happens.
Have you thought about renting out that reservation or?
I probably could, right?
You probably make some good money doing that, man, because that's a in-demand time. You could probably make some good cash doing that. You should look into that.
Oh, I kind of, you know what, Tom? You're kind of right on that.
All right. Well, I'll take a small commission for that.
wait. So who do I have to talk to though?
At rental store?
Yeah.
Well, we'll hook you up with somebody over there and get you. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure that you could probably pull in a good price for that, man.
Yeah. And it's a 2-bedroom.
Do we need to just do the ad right now?
I thought that was the ad. Hold on. No, I thought that was the ad.
That's funny.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That is a valid point, and maybe I will do that because that would be pretty easy. And I'd say cash.
Yeah, you just get.
Wait, do they
cash.
send? So here's a question though. So do they send you a 1099 at the end of the year, or do you have to self-report that?
I think we discussed this when
I forget. Yeah,
they were on, but I don't remember. But I do think they send you something. Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume they send you something. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you should check it out though. Then you can report back on the process. But you said it's a 2-bedroom too. That's a lot of cash, man. That's a good amount of money, I think.
Yeah, maybe I will do that. Yeah. Good idea, Tom. Good idea.
You know what? That's why we have this show for ideas, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
So
well, that's good that you got your at least 2 nights.
Yep, I got 2 nights, and I guess our only goal is, again, since we've been to Hilton Head so much, it'll be nice to be at DVC, but if I don't see Shadow, I'm going to be mad.
Oh, you got to see Shadow, yeah.
Yeah, if I don't see Shadow, I'm going to be mad. Outside of that, again, I already know where I'm eating, I already know what places I'm going to, I already know what I'm doing. It's not like I don't know. I was just there, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, so it will just be a different experience, and this will probably be the only time we'll go there because my wife's parents' house is just not done yet. Once they finish their house, then, they're on Beach Walk, right? They're in Sea Pines, why would I use my points there?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So it would work out. And again, we have so many points, it would make sense. So that would be good.
Yeah, it's good to check it out, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they also have like, I think I told you this too. I mean, I've said this many times that everybody says this. They have like the nicest cast members there. I mean, they're just the best there. And they do have some good there's some good food in the little snack bar there. I want to say banana bread French toast.
Stop. I already know where I go. It's not even like I won't even like play that game.
You don't even want to play that game. You just want to go where you're going to go.
Yeah, like we went to some really, really good places when we were there with my daughter, and I'm not trying to not go back to those places. So that's not even going to be a question.
That's funny. Well, I mean, listen, that's fine. I mean, you'll enjoy the resort regardless.
Yeah, it will be nice. So just for everyone that's curious why I'm leaving early today. So interestingly enough, I'm going to an abandoned church in North Carolina to shoot an album cover for my son's album. But I'm like super excited. I've never been to like an abandoned church. Now, yes, it's been decommissioned, I think is the official term. So
Okay.
It's no longer a church, but it is a historic landmark. And it was bought out by a private business, which I've already spoken to. And they said, yep, you can come on through and take pictures. I talked to the owner. So I'm kind of excited about that. Seems like it will be a fun little experience.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Just want to say thank you for actually clearing it with the owner. But believe it or not,
dude, definitely,
we have people around here. We've had issues with it at some of the like old buildings and landmarks and stuff where, yeah, people come through and do photo shoots and whatever, photographers, but they never get it cleared, and then it causes all kinds of problems. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Of course, yeah. I'm not that guy. Like I'm always like, I need to call. Like, it's my son's like, oh, we could, go to the. Nah, I got to call first. So
yeah,
it was actually
I didn't
bought out
figure
by,
you were that kind of guy.
No,
but yeah,
it was actually interesting. It was bought out by a landscaping company because it was on the southern border of their property. So they use it now. They're keeping it up, but they use the rest of the land, kind of as part of their landscaping business. So it would be pretty neat.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. So, Damon, I want to go on like DVC rental store right now and like find out how much.
Dude, I might be calling them next week. I feel like.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm calling them next week.
Where is the reservation at?
Saratoga.
Okay.
It's a Saratoga 2-bedroom. Let's see. So
Looks like it's $14.50 per point is what they're paying for that.
Okay. And that's the 2-bedroom. I feel like is a lot of points for that.
That's got to be a lot of points. Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
wanna
and
say
the
we're-
fact that it's prime time, right?
Yeah, 24, 25, 26, 27. I feel like is what we have booked.
Okay.
So yeah, 24 through 27.
Nice.
So
You're gonna have to.
I think I'm going to do that because I don't think we'll go, and why not, right? Like I could flip into RCI, but I could also take cash.
You could do that. Yeah. You could
I like
do that.
cash. I don't mind cash, especially in
Cash.
November.
Cash is always good, right?
Yeah, especially in November. November cash is always good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your Christmas cash right there.
I'm way behind on Christmas stuff. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I have no good ideas. I think I just killed it last year, and I have really just like no real good ideas this year, and it's very disappointing for me.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, you have that one thing that you got.
Yeah. I mean, but that's like the kids aren't going to be like it's theirs, and they're not going to be like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome, but they're not going to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Usually I get them all something special. So I have to kind of keep my eyes open because it's going to be a little bit of a tougher one now.
I mean, it's only September, man.
I'm usually, I at least have my good ideas by now, though. Because some, again, some of these ideas could take, a few weeks to months to pull off.
Sure, yeah.
So Tom, my wife and I have already started our shopping.
I haven't even figured out what's happening for Christmas, let alone shopping for gifts.
Oh, I'm probably 60 to 70% done with like stuff, but like the stuff end of the gifts, not like the one present that I feel like is like, oh, okay, that's it.
The one big present.
The extra, like,
Yeah.
gift, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. All right, you want to start answering some questions?
Yeah.
Sure. We have to answer this one? I thought we pushed this one off.
Which one?
I thought we said we're not here right now and just kind of left that alone.
So was you messing with Jeremy?
I assumed.
Of course.
So Jeremy had sent us a question, and I went and I looked at it, and there was a response that looked like an automated response, and I'm like, wait a second, I don't think we have automated responses. And I was like, wait, Damon's probably just messing with with Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy asks, it's my understanding he's going in January 2022. It's my understanding this 50th celebration stuff will still be happening then. Do you know if there are events that for the 50th only happening in October, then getting done, or where all the 50th lasts a year? It's a year and a half celebration. So I mean, I don't think anything's coming down or not happening.
So to that end, I'll refer back to going to Disneyland for the 60th. Is that that's exactly it. These events, they know full well that people are not going to get there in the first month, and honestly, they don't want that. They want to try and spread it out over a year because it makes them more money, and it stops it from October becoming absolutely ridiculous to get any kind of reservation. So. To answer that, Jeremy, I'm fairly confident. I know specifically you mentioned the big 50, still being on the castle. Oh yeah. That logo will be up there. The Fab 50 statues will be around. They're not going to just put that stuff up for a month and then put it away. Like they have every intent of keeping it up for well over a year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Jeremy. I think you'll still be able to see everything when you go. So, I mean, they might do special things here and there that only last for like a month, but that's
even that, like with the 60th, like, cause like I was looking at vloggers and whatnot as that was going on, and they had parades and shows and stuff like that for the 60th in Disneyland, and none of those stopped in any short amount of time. Like there's Disney's not in the habit of, like they're not going to make a show or do something where it's like, oh, this is only here for a month and then it disappears. That's not cost effective, right?
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. That's not cost effective at all. So, yeah. So you're definitely right about that. Yeah. But there might be some limited stuff, but for the most part, you'll be able to see it. So
yeah, I guess, maybe merchandise, but again, I don't worry too much about that. You'll be able to find 50th merch, no problem.
Yeah, I agree. So Becky via Discord last night while I was writing this, I threw out on Discord. It's like, anybody have any questions? And Becky asked, she mentioned that we both snagged last minute reservations, Damon and I. But she said you can go to one park on October 1st. Which one do you choose?
None.
None is that was her answer too, but I kind of choose none as well.
I mean, I would go to maybe Epcot.
Epcot's not a bad choice because at least there's more space than Magic Kingdom, right?
I would not go anywhere near Magic Kingdom on the first. Epcot's a maybe, and I think.
I mean, if you're talking non-pandemic,
I
would ride out in Magic Kingdom, but right
you
now,
would do the shoulder to shoulder New Year's Eve kind of. Really?
Yeah.
For the 50th, I can see the reasoning behind that is, there's a certain amount of hype, right?
There's just something about being there on the anniversary, right?
Yeah. But I don't think that sort of stuff is ever going to be it again for me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, that's tough to do right now. I mean, but it's going to be mob though. I mean, even with the limits on, park reservations, it's still going to be pretty busy. I mean, it's not going to be like it is on New Year's Eve because they can actually limit stuff now, right? Like, so it's not, I don't think they have it up to full park capacity yet, but it's still going to be busy. It's still going to be a lot of people packed in there. So especially to see the new show. But again, though, like this is why I think it's smart what they're doing. A lot of stuff is debuting that same night. Like you said, Trevor, I want to go to Epcot to see what they're doing on Spaceship Earth with the beacons of light thing, and to go see Harmonious. Like, I know there's also a new show at Magic Kingdom debuting, but I don't know, just what they're doing at Epcot is really interesting to me.
Yeah, I just like even with the new show at Magic Kingdom, I feel like Epcot would be, like you said, it's more interesting, and yeah, it's easier to spread out and not so. I don't feel there's enough stuff there that people would be packing it shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's a good choice. If I were going to choose anywhere, it would be that. It would be Epcot. I think you're right about that.
Yeah. All right.
This is a good Damon question. I feel like I saw this question. I thought Damon. Yeah.
So Dan says, if Disney ever decide to do a truly scary Halloween party in brackets Fright Night, what park would you like to see it in, and what type of scary characters would you expect to be there?
I mean, is there really any other park besides Hollywood Studios for this, though?
Yeah, I was going there too.
Yeah.
And what would I expect? I mean, we have so many villains. So, I mean, if you're trying to like notch out which villains would I like to see? I mean, I don't know, because think about this though. Like, what about Splash Mountain with the Doctor from Princess and the Frog?
Oh yeah,
whatever.
Dr.
Facilier. Yeah. That would be interesting.
He's a truly creepy character.
But that's what I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, actual scary characters. I don't know. I still think it should be at Hollywood Studios, but, I mean, I don't know. You know what would be really, really cool? Is if they did, like, a Death Troopers. Like the What If kind of.
Well,
there's a book called Death Troopers, though, as well, by Joe. It's eluding me for a second. But what if you did
the Marvel stuff? Never mind.
Yeah. So what if you did a Star Wars Death Troopers? Man, that would be crazy cool.
That would be cool. Well, Disney also own Alien now too, so they could,
Yeah, I mean, I still think if I was like, I would love to see classic Disney characters, animated characters, right from the animated movies make appearances.
Yeah.
But like really done up, like far more realistic than they appear in the movies.
Yeah, but I just don't know if you can make it scary enough, right? It depends what level of scary you're going for. I just don't know if you make it scary enough, in that animated realm. So that's why I would lean towards something like Star Wars in that aspect. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they were going to go all out and kind of go outside canon and do something, then yeah, that would be really, really neat. But I just don't know if that would ever happen.
I'm trying to think of, this is making me think of like the scariest all-time Disney characters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm trying to think if there's any that have like ever really
I'm going to the web.
Me.
I'm going to the web.
You know what? Tafiti from Moana is scary. Yeah.
And there's a D23 article actually about this, the 13 Disney characters. So they have the Hag, the Horned King from Black Cauldron, King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. Really? I don't know about that.
When he gets infected by the virus, it's a little disturbing. I wouldn't call it scary.
Red Skull, but I think you almost have to leave Marvel out. Madame Medusa from The Rescuers. Okay. Claude from the Hunchback.
I said Tafiti, I meant Taka. The other version. Like, that's kind of a scary character, I think.
Yeah.
Davy Jones from Pirates, Headless Horseman. I could see Headless Horseman. I could see Sid. I could see Sid.
Actually, it's creepy.
Yeah, the whole, the Headless Horseman, that, actually, now thinking about that whole little story with Ichabod was, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, that one I could see. But I still think transforming like the park in terms of Star Wars, that whole area to like Death Troopers would be so cool.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Oh, the whole Chernobog sequence Night on.
Oh yeah.
Was it Night on Bald Mountain? Is what it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a real scary Pinocchio situation too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
I was looking up stuff as you were reading them, Damon. So did you say like Maleficent and Ursula?
No. I mean, they're on different ones. I was just looking at the one from D23.
Yeah, because I feel like Maleficent is pretty scary, and then Ursula, when Ursula grew big and like was taking down the ship, pretty scary.
Yeah, you could also do something with Monsters Inc. Oh
yeah, true. Oh, Monsters Inc. thing could be actually really fun. If you pretend like the movie Monsters Inc. never happened, and they still are scaring children.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Or actually, though, I think I could tell you that lots of hugging bear. Lotso could be pretty darn creepy.
That's, you know what, you're right. I don't disagree with that. Now I'm reading 20 Disney villains ranked.
Yes.
This is where
and
I'm
Scar. How could we leave Scar out?
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we got to have Scar in there. Oh, the villain from Mulan is kind of creepy. Yeah. Jafar,
I agree.
Yeah. Cruella can be a little scary.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where, they do like the kind of mascot versions of them, but if they did like a proper, like took that character and did how it would be perceived in real life, I think that could cross over into more scary, but yeah.
Did we say Hades?
No.
I feel like Hades is a good one.
I don't feel the way that Hades is done in Hercules would be.
You could make him scary though. Like you could. I mean, there's some cool stuff you could do to make him scary. I feel like.
Yeah.
All right. So Bernice is asking about Adventures by Disney.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm looking at the list for North America just because I was kind of curious. Gosh darn it, some of these prices are crazy expensive. But
yeah,
can we do anything with our points against these or no?
Yeah, you can use your points for Adventure by Disney. Yeah.
I mean, there's not a ton, right? Again, I'm just looking at North America. We have Montana, New England, winter in Wyoming. I don't know how that's a vacation, but okay.
It sounds miserable.
Sounds cold, man. I don't know about miserable. It sounds
really
cold. Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot out there. I don't know. It's just, they all look so very expensive. Like some of these starting at $5,300 a night per adult. Yeah. I mean, what am I going on? So 6 times 5. So $30,000 to go to Wyoming.
That's pretty pricey. It's pretty pricey.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've looked at them before, and for the same reason, have not been interested because they're just very expensive. And I also don't like. I don't know. I feel like we're not the guided tour kind of family. Like I feel like we kind of like to do our thing, and
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like I'm looking at what it is. Like so, the Wyoming, you go to Jackson Hole for 2 nights. You go to Yellowstone for 2 nights. Brooks Lake for 3 nights. So yeah, I mean. I still don't think for $30,000 that a little whitewater rafting and some fishing and archery is going to add up for a vacation I could do on my own, to be honest with you.
What were you laughing at, Trevor?
Sorry, I'm looking. There's actually a Canadian Rockies Adventures by Disney. It's $5,400 US, and it starts in Calgary. And goes to Banff and Lake Louise, and then it also looks like Fairmount Hot Springs. So, like, this is all within about an hour, 2-hour drive from my house.
Yeah,
I mean, food's included, right? So.
Yeah, but it's just funny thinking of paying $5,000 for literally where I live.
and that's not even including the cost for you to get to this place either, right? Like,
yeah. So, well, I mean, that's easy for me, but
it's easy for you. Yes, I'm just saying, like, if Damon or I were going to Wyoming, or you were going to Wyoming, we'd have to fly there, you know, like, so we still have that.
And that was a starting at. Like, I'm looking at some of these are $5,900 depending on the days you go. Like, I mean, the itinerary just doesn't look, even with the food, it just doesn't look like it makes up for that, really. But I mean, I'd be interested if anyone's gone on one to let us know.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean, I'm sure some people have. I mean, I'm just looking at this Alaska one that's 8 days, 7 nights. I mean, it includes a lot. I mean, it's $57.49. It's 8 days, 7 nights. It's 4 different hotels. It's 4 different locations. It's 7 breakfasts, 4 lunches, and 5 dinners. I don't know what you're supposed to do the other.
I still think a cruise is cheaper though, and I'd rather do a cruise.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably not wrong about that. I would think a cruise would be cheaper than doing this. So,
yeah,
I mean, for people with a ton of money and they don't know what to do with it.
You know, to be fair, like I guess, yeah, if you were converting some points for this, you could. I mean,
what's that conversion at?
It's not. It's like a cruise. It's not,
yeah. But so it could be relatively cheap, and I guess I shouldn't laugh about the whole Calgary trip thing because I mean, obviously, yeah, it's pretty far for a lot of people. But
I'm just thinking about that. So if it costs $30,000, right? In theory, I'm probably gonna need somewhere like 3,000 points to pay for that.
I mean, that's not about right.
Maybe 2,500.
Yeah, you're going to need a lot of points for that. Yeah.
That's a lot of points, man.
Maybe you can pay for it with all the money you're going to make from renting out your points for your November.
That's true. There you go.
Well, maybe this Canadian Rockies one's more in your ballpark, because if it's about $5,400, then yeah, you're probably talking about, 150 points kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, so let's see. This is an interesting one. So what do you prefer, Boo Bash or not? Or Boo Bash, Not So Scary, all in kind of one, or the Merriest Christmas Party? I'm going to say Merriest Christmas Party without a doubt. I just like the projections on the castle. I just thought it was more enjoyable. There's something just like a little bit lacking with the Halloween stuff. I don't know what it is. I can't always put my finger on it, but like it doesn't feel all park encompassing. Even though I know both of them are not all in park encompassing, I just feel like there's more pizzazz at the Christmas one that makes me feel more encompassing, even though it's not. I don't know how to put it, but I just feel like it's a little bit more.
I agree with you. I think the Christmas decorations are way more extensive than the Halloween ones.
Yeah.
Like, cause you can find the Christmas decorations they have decorations everywhere for that. Like for Halloween, it's almost like they have it up for, it's about the same period of time, I guess, right? It's like 2 months. But still, it seems like they do less, and they really only do it at Magic Kingdom. So,
even thinking about Magic Kingdom, like if you look at the Christmas, like Jingle Cruise gets redone, there's stuff done in Tomorrowland. Like it does really extend out to further corners of the park. Whereas the Halloween party is, they have the treat trails, but there's really nothing extra done for it. And I also feel like Halloween, they do, kind of like we were just talking about with the, making the characters scary, is that they do hold back. And I feel like I almost feel like it's a conscious decision, because they know if they made it, scary like you get at Universal or anything like that it would push people away outside of the Halloween party. So I feel like they deliberately hold back on Halloween, but then Christmas is like they can double down on it because it's Christmas, right? So
Christmas is all happy and exactly.
Yeah.
There's no, they could go all out for that. I think there's some scary stuff during Halloween, right? I think some people would probably find like the Headless Horseman to be scary, right?
But it's not the same as like the wandering characters in Universal and stuff like that.
Oh, right? No. I'm not even, no. It's nowhere near that. But they embrace it a little bit, but you're right. They're very careful not to, and they do consciously stay behind the line, right? So like, because they literally call it Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, right?
Yeah.
They are literally saying to you, it's not going to be scary. You can bring your kids, like that's the idea here. That's the demographic. So I think this just probably boils down to which holiday you maybe prefer too. I don't know. But I would agree. I've never been to either one of these, but I would still pick the Christmas party. So
yeah, and I do really like Halloween. Like I have fun with Halloween, and Christmas is always Christmas. Like it's kind of a given. But yeah, in terms of the parties, doing both, I definitely agree that the Christmas party always, like to Damon's point, that there's a vibe, there's something about it that it doesn't matter which area of the park you're in, you just still feel it. And actually it's not even limited to Magic Kingdom anymore. Like going to all of the parks, you just feel it more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna have to stop you because Club Cool's coming up. We have one more question, and I can't miss getting in Club Cool talk. And
that's why I put it right at the very beginning. I needed to make sure that you.
But we're butting up against there. So let's get to this last one. So with DVC prices going up on both the resale and direct, what year do you think we'll start seeing 2042 resort prices drop?
41?
Yeah. I think the other thing is too, right? When you own there, you have the opportunity to extend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's worth something in and of itself.
Well, you had the opportunity to extend. They're not letting you do it anymore, right? I don't think that's...
But they could offer it again is the point.
They could. Well, I'm assuming that's what they're going to do when they get close, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see them, 2032, I could see them putting out an offer.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, right? Because I don't really know. Yeah, I don't think we have a good answer to this question, but I would think like maybe 10 years out, that it would start getting less worth it. I don't know, but that's just a guess though. I really don't know.
Is it really not worth it even at 10 years or like, I guess
it's close, I feel like.
But I guess it's a matter of what people perceive as not being worth it. Cause if you get like 10 years worth of vacations, that's still,
yeah, sure.
I think
it's going to be a math thing, right? Like it's going to depend on the price per point and how many points you have and what you plan on doing. It's just, I think that you'll see that.
Cause I think we always talked about, really getting back or not getting back, but feeling like you've gotten your money's worth after about the 5-year mark. So I almost feel like at the 5-year mark is when, people would really be seriously looking at whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Could be.
All right. We're moving on. Creation Shop, Club Cool.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
do you want to talk about Club Cool? Just like you don't even care about the creation shop?
I mean, Creation Shop looked okay. I mean, it looked cool, but it's still a shop.
Better than Mouse Gears. I'll give it that.
Yeah. I mean, just based on what we've seen. But I mean, it's still just a store at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's just a store, right? Like, I think it's funny because there are some people that are like, I saw a couple people saying that they wouldn't go back there again because it's not Mouse Gear anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you will. First of all, yes, you will. Okay. Second of all, why?
That's a strange hill to die on.
It is, right?
Yeah. It's a store. It's a shop. It's not like it's a ride. Like, it's just a shop, man.
Yeah, it's just a store. I mean, like, why would you just restrict yourself from not going there just because you want it to still be Mouse Gear and you want it to be Mouse Gear forever and ever? Like,
Are you going to protest outside the store with like a bring back Mouse Gear sign? Like, what? I mean,
I would have liked if it stayed Mouse Gears. I'm not even going to say I wouldn't, but it's still a store. I don't know if I care that much. And I care about all that nostalgia, and I don't think I even care.
There's some cool new stuff in this store, though. Sorry, Trevor. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in 6 months to a year, everyone will have forgotten about this and be all, hey, what's the new merch in Creation Shop?
Yep. Because that's what happens, right? Like, it's the same thing when Wishes went away and it got replaced by Happily Ever After. It was like, oh, it's the way. And then Happily Ever After now going away, and people feel the same thing about that show. It's like you just move on to the next thing. That becomes the new thing, right? Becomes the new nostalgia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Tom, we're going to let the ad go in here, I feel like.
Wait, I thought we were going to talk about Club Cool.
No, and then we're going to talk about Club Cool.
Oh, you want to do the ad and then talk about
I need to be free of the ad to really flex my wings on Club
Cool.
Okay,
we can do the ad first.
All right. I'll go ahead and do this. And, we talked about this earlier, and Damon's going to check this out now. But this ad is for DVC Rental Store. The DVC Rental Store, a World of DVC company, offers magical vacations at incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 1-855-382-7368 and let them know the Welcome Home sent you. Okay, now we can talk Club Cool.
The Cools. So I looked at this list, right? So Club Cool is now open, right? So let's see what the limitations are. So currently only one party is allowed per drink machine. Okay, understandable.
Yeah.
Right? If Tom could spell, it would have said party instead of part, but okay. Still at no cost, which I'm surprised about, which is, okay, that's good. And then our flavors. But there's missing flavors from the original, right?
But they did new flavors now, though.
Yeah,
I like that they
like that, though. I don't like that, though. There were some good flavors in there that I'm kind of upset about. But
I know, but some of these look really good, though. Like, I'm kind of psyched to try these.
Yeah, I guess
fresh
so.
now. It's fresh, Damon.
Well, Beverly's still back, which I guess is good.
You gotta have Beverly.
It's a rite of passage, so yes.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the rest of this list, and I mean, Royal Watermelon, okay. A plum flavored soda, okay. And the raspberry soda, okay. I'm like interested in those, but the Sprite cucumber is the one that sounds like, that's interesting.
That sounds good to me, right? That's the one that's jumped out to me. I was like,
absolutely.
Sprite
cucumber sounds interesting.
Good.
I'm just, the thing is, it's a different experience. I have to feel like I know that people have gone. Like, so how many people are they allowing in? It looked like there was a line outside.
Yeah.
So are they only allowing in certain parties? And like, are you going, drinking them all and then, leaving? Like, or are people just going to sit and monopolize and just like drink 3 gallons of soda? Like, well, right? Because that really didn't happen too much at the other one because you were kind of being, not forcefully herded, but kind of forcefully herded by other people.
Yeah,
in
because
and out
there was
of the
somebody standing
stations.
there waiting for you to move.
Or not, and again, for some people, not even standing there waiting, but pushing through you to get to, what they want. So there is a little bit of that. So I just wonder how that will, kind of happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm nostalgically missing some of my flavors, but I love watermelon. I could get on board. The Sprite cucumber's good. Raspberry, I like raspberry. I don't know about that one, but
what about the bonbon and glace, a tropical fruit drink, and then the Dominican Republic one sounds kind of good too. They're both tropical fruit drinks, but I'm in for tropical fruit drinks.
I'm missing the old flavors a little bit. I'll be honest.
The Dominican Republic one almost sounds like a cream soda too, which
does.
If done right, is definitely could be a good thing.
Yeah.
And I will say this. So so plum was something that wasn't on my radar for a long time. And then I actually got some snacks from Japan that were plum flavored, and sour plum is actually really good. So
I could see that. Yeah. I'm looking at the old list now and now being very disappointed. Yeah.
You don't know though. Some of these might be your new favorite.
The Smart Watermelon was really good, and the Fanta Pineapple. I'm gonna miss you, Fanta Pineapple. Or the Fanta Melon
Pineapple was good.
Yeah, the Fanta Melon Frosty. Bebo though.
Frosty,
so Bebo was like the funniest thing to say, as well as one of the best drinks. Like, we all are going to miss Bebo. Like, cause I think my kids called my daughter Bebo for like the whole rest of the trip. So like, I think that one's going to be tough to miss out on. Bebo is the one that I'm a little upset about.
I mean, I get it. I kind of like that they refreshed the flavor lineup and did something completely new. It's except for Beverly. Of course, I never for a moment doubted they were going to get rid of Beverly. I mean, I knew they were going to keep Beverly. I
think like I'm going to have to, and the thing is, changing the flavors also does make the Coca-Cola store at Disney Springs a little bit different now, because it seems like that will probably have most of the old flavors, I would think. It seems like
they have all the flavors, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Inca Cola was also kind of good.
Yeah.
I like that was the bubblegummy flavored one. I like that one as well. I'm a little disappointed seeing this list, but as long as I can go and, pay $80 for them over at, Disney Springs, I guess that's kind of.
You got to do a flight. You go do a flight over at,
Yeah.
Now, I guess, do you suppose that maybe they'll actually look at cycling out the flavors?
That would be cool if they did. I kind of always wish they did that, like kind of change them up every couple months.
No, no, I don't think so. Let them stay there for a few years.
Okay. So like every couple years they can recycle them, is what you're saying?
Like every 7 years. Let's go to 7 to 10 years you can recycle them.
Every 7 years. Such a random number. Go ahead, Trevor. What were you gonna say?
I was just laughing at 7 years. Like,
such a specific number.
Well, because because you have the the 7-year itch, right? Like, so we take it to that, right? To the whole marriage thing. So 7 years, I think that's perfect. Makes sense. Now it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of, sort of.
I had to laugh because when I first saw the pictures of like the new flavors, all I saw was Sprite on one of them. I was like, wait a second. No way that they're just offering straight up Sprite as an option, right? Not realizing that it was and then I saw that there was like a little picture of cucumbers in there. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's different. And then, read the description, of course. But it just sounds so odd, but also sounds good. I just don't.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
I want to try all these. I'm all about the sour watermelon too. I definitely want to try that.
Sour drinks are really good, I found.
Yeah.
And the Dominican Republic one sounds really good too.
Yeah.
No Bebo though. No Bebo.
You don't know that. You haven't tried it yet.
Maybe we have a cool name, so it can't be Bebo.
Maybe we need to get that. You know how they had like Bring Back Beverly as a shirt? We need to have like Bebo? It's no Bebo.
Yeah.
I wish we had some graphic design skills so we could sell these things in our store. But that's really funny.
All right. So the next big thing is the rise of the resistance pausing virtual queues. So here's my first question. Yeah. Again, because I think that's self-explanatory. Usually we get a Tom monologue about what that's all about. It seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But is there going to be, so when this unpausing happens, do we think that there's going to be a standby, virtual queue, and lightning pass, or is it just standby, lightning pass?
I think it's virtual queue or standby. Like, I don't think there's 3. I think it's just virtual, because they only have 2 lines built, right? So,
okay, hold on. So it can't be virtual. There's going to be a lightning pass, though.
Yeah. No, they have the lightning pass lane built, right? Like,
so what I'm saying is that once we come back from this and that's all Genie Plus and you can pay to get on, like, is there going to still be a virtual queue, or is it going to be standby, lightning pass only?
Standby or lightning pass only, I think is.
Yeah, the boarding groups I think are gone for now.
But so has that been specifically said? Because again, we don't have that pricing for, the lightning pass yet. So is that a definitive, or is that just what we're assuming?
Well, they say in the announcement basically that there's just going to be the standby line and then the lightning lane, like, right? That's let me see here.
Again, I was just curious. I think it would be great if there was a standby, a boarding group again, where it's a virtual queue, but even less of a number. So you can be mad about it, but you have other options.
So you still get a chance to get a boarding group,
yes,
just to seal a chance of getting on there, but you're not paying for lightning lane and you're also not standing in line for
like when you say it like that,
hours.
Trevor, it makes me think it's not going to happen, but man, that would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think it's the way that I'm reading this is that the boarding groups were entirely, or that is, it's either standby or boarding groups. And I think the boarding groups is when they get closer to really busy times of the year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if closer to Christmas, you see it suddenly ramp back up, or over the summer, they may go back to it. But, what
do you think that would look like then? You think they would just take away standby?
I think they would, but then the question comes is how do you do that for, cause like if I had planned a trip and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go line up for Rise, why you would just say I'm going to line up that's a whole other discussion. But
well, no, I thought about this too, Trevor, because I was like, okay, so because they very specifically use the term pause, right? And if you're using the term pause, you're saying you're going to bring it back at some point, right?
They're leaving it open for themselves, is what they're doing.
Exactly.
They know full well that there's going to be points where they need to do it. But then, like I said, the question comes in, like, I know that the boarding group was done day by day, so you had to like plan for your day, but it's the difference between, planning to be at the park early versus making sure that I get up and I get my boarding group like that. It almost reinstates the panic that there was when the boarding groups first started, where people were like, freaking out because they were, even up until now, they were disappearing almost instantly, but people kind of figured out the system, right? So,
well, I think they have to go one or two ways here, right? So like, if they're going to reinstitute it, they either need to have like one of those push notifications they do with the app ahead of time. But again, you're not going to catch everybody, right? So even if you do like a push notification, like the day before, hey, starting tomorrow, you got to do virtual queue. Or the other thought is maybe they go where they have to walk up to the attraction. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
geez.
Like to get into the virtual queue, you walk up to the attraction, push a button or whatever, scan a QR code, whatever it is, and then you get into the virtual queue. Because that way you eliminate the whole problem with the standby line, right? You don't need to notify anybody. People could just walk up like, oh, I'm going to go on the standby line. And they're like, wait a second. No, you scan this thing and you get in the virtual queue and come back at this time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I'm thinking. But
so I've experienced something it's basically how the fast passes worked for Radiator Springs racers in California Adventure. What that turned into was, at Rope Drop, you literally had everybody else that was going to other parts of the park. And then it was a line, like they actually formed a line for Radiator Springs Racers Fast Pass. Everybody flooded the Fast Pass kiosks, got their Fast Passes, and then dissipated wherever else. But that's what would happen here, is that you would end up with a rush of people. It's basically the same thing that was happening with the boarding passes, that, everyone would be rushing to get there and get into the queue. And that becomes it's a queue management nightmare, because people get stupid when there's, they when they get tunnel visioned on, I got to go get my boarding pass, right? Like I don't see them doing that because it's a bad idea.
Unless you just have to be in the general vicinity of the ride and there's not like a specific kiosk you need to go to. You know what I mean?
Right. But then it's still that initial rush of getting to.
Oh yeah.
Like it.
But you're going to have that with the standby line anyway, though.
Yeah.
You're going to have that with the standby line, right? You're going to have, they're going to have to walk people over every morning like they do with Toy Story.
But at least with the standby queue is, I know that it bleeds outside of the queue, but you can at least contain people to the queue. Whereas,
sure, yeah.
Whereas, telling people they have to go somewhere to get the virtual queue, it would be easier for them to just turn it back on the way that they're doing now and say, hey, you just, starting at 7:00 in the morning, you can book it and you don't have to necessarily be, anywhere near the ride. But yeah, again, there's a whole bunch of logistics around. Do they warn people? Do they not? If they don't, you're going to obviously make a subsection of people annoyed because they didn't know that they had to do that. But I mean, maybe they're willing to sacrifice that if they know that it's busy enough that the ride's at capacity anyway.
Yeah. This is a whole interesting thing for a couple of reasons, right? Like, I find it interesting because they just made some changes to the virtual queue process like a week ago, which makes me feel like this decision was not something they planned for a while, right? Like It feels like almost, I don't want to say last minute, but I also like look at it too, where I've seen a lot of people taking what you could call the cynical view, but it probably is the correct view that they're doing this to push more people into paying the one-time price, right? Which I don't necessarily think is wrong, that they're probably are doing it for that reason. Yeah. But I also think we're at a point now. I never thought that this was going to be permanent, right? Like I never thought the virtual queue would be permanent. I thought, they instituted originally because it was a brand new ride, the most complicated ride they've ever built. It was going to be prone to breakdowns. And it was going to be extraordinarily popular, right? So I think they've gotten to a point now where it runs pretty reliably. It can move a lot of people through. And the only reason I'm not taking necessarily the cynical view on this is because the past couple weeks, I have seen so many reports of the virtual queue not filling up every day, right? Like there's been a lot of reports lately of the virtual queue still being available all the way to the end of the day, right? So that tells me that they don't necessarily need the virtual queue anymore if it's not filling up, and it hasn't been for a couple months now. So maybe they just have gotten to a good point operationally and uptime wise where they can keep it up. But also, again, I do think part of it is trying to push people into paying the price. But I just think they're at a point now where they don't necessarily need the virtual queue anymore to manage that ride load and manage the breakdowns and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think, that's a fair point. And I was also going to say that, they learned their lessons from Flight of Passage that, that's why they did the virtual queue in the first place. And yeah, it was exactly the same thing, is that Flight of Passage has eventually gotten to a point where you don't have, the queue is not outside of the land and almost back to the park entrance. So this is hitting the same thing, is that, eventually it does calm down and eventually the ride would hit a point where standby is manageable. And yeah, I didn't really think about this too much, but you're right, is there may be a little bit of conditioning here so that people don't look at Rise of the Resistance and go, well, why would I pay for Lightning Lane when I can just get into the virtual queue and I just wait for it anyway. Like, why would I pay extra for this? If you force the standby queue, there is definitely an incentive there for people to say, hey, I want to pay for this because I don't want to stand in line for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what they're doing here, right? And this is a very interesting situation, right? Because there are a lot of people that love the virtual queue and there's a lot of people that hated it with a passion, right? Like for me, I liked it because I could just, once I got in it for the day, I didn't have to worry about it anymore. I didn't have to wait in a super long line. I got called when it was time. To me, it was extraordinarily convenient. That's how I felt about it. But I know there was a lot of people that didn't feel that way and really hated it. Like, and I know, for example, my sister was happy to see it gone because the last time she went, she was like, trying to get a spot on this virtual queue is going to give me a panic attack. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I get that. Like, I get it. If you're there for one day only and then they're gone in a minute and you don't get to go on it, that stinks, right? But I also don't want to wait in line for one ride for an entire day either, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a weird situation.
I'm with you there that, you know, and again, it's hard. This is why I do keep talking to my brother about these things, because he is in that position where he doesn't go to Disney the same way that I do, or not regularly. But, you know, for him, he makes the point of, you know, as somebody who doesn't go very often, there is incentive to pay for getting on these rides so you don't miss them. But, you know, from my point of view, I agree with you, Tom, that things like virtual queue do make sense because it's convenient. You know, if, you know, I get in the line and wait until my turn and that's it. I would rather that over standing in any line. Like I would personally love to not have to stand in line for anything, but I also know that's not feasible. But I'm also at a point too where I'm willing to say, hey, you know, on this trip, if I'm going during a busier time and the line for Rise of the Resistance is always an hour and a half plus, I'm just not riding Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, it's interesting too, because I always hear people too is like, oh, well, they should have made it at like higher capacity or something. It's actually one of the higher capacity rides that Disney has, believe it or not. You know, like it's about on par. Like, and
there's still a physical limitation on, like, you can't just like funnel 5,000 people into a room and put them on a ride.
Exactly. And I mean, the estimates are 1,300 to 1,700 per hour, which is, you know, on par with things like Rock and Roller Coaster and, you know, Star Tours and, you know, Toy Story. Like, these are all, you know, kind of actually Flight of Passage too, because Flight of Passage, you know, you would think is huge capacity, which it is. I mean, these are big capacity rides, but, you know, even like, let's see, I just have a whole website here of all the capacities. Like, you know, like Soarin' is like 2,000, right? So like they're all around the same. And, you know, except for like the Omni Mover rides, which are specifically meant to move a huge amount of people, you know, at once. Like, you know, Haunted Mansion can move a ton of people, you know, like, yeah. And so, you know, it's a pretty high capacity ride considering the ride system and everything that goes into it. So it's just too popular. That's the problem. I mean, that's just the problem, right? It's very popular. So there's only so much you can do. But, the whole thing I think is interesting. I'm a little surprised they're doing it now, but again, I also do think that there's some, like we're saying here, I do think that there is some, evidence to say, yeah, that of course they're wanting to push people into paying, right? Like, of course they're doing that. Like, yeah.
And I think, you know, the timing of it, you think, wow, they're doing this really close to the 50th. And actually, if you think about it, yeah, that's exactly why they're doing it, is because it is close to the 50th. And they know that, you know, Magic Kingdom is going to be busier right now, but Hollywood Studios is going to ramp up too. And this is going to prove the point to people, you know, when they say, hey, we've taken away the virtual queue, you can just stand by, and people, I guarantee you're going to hear, you know, people going, oh, you know, I walked by there and it was, you know, 2-hour wait. This is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. And so it'll go right back to, you know, kind of the same complaints people had about not being able to get a boarding group, is that you're going to hear people complaining about the standby queue. And then when they launch Lightning Lane, all of a sudden it's going to be, hey, we can skip the line. And people aren't going to be vocal about it. You know, people don't want to necessarily admit that they're paying to skip the line, but people will do it. And I think Disney is banking on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think some people will do it, right? Like, but I think more people will choose standby than, I mean, a lot.
Correct. I mean,
yeah.
You're right, because you wouldn't have a 2-hour standby line unless the majority of people are making the decision to stand in line. But, you know, Disney also knows that there's going to be that subsection of people that, you know, for as much as people are vocal about, you know, this line is too long or I don't want to do this, there's plenty of people that will pay, you know, that pay for that next level experience, or pay for that, even dessert parties were always a good example where people are like, well, that's really expensive. You know, why would anybody do that just to watch the fireworks? And yet, you know, I paid for dessert parties and they were were never not busy. Like, there's obviously a lot of people that will pay for this stuff. So
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the after hours parties are another example. Everybody was like, "Oh, the price," and then they sold out. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's people are willing to pay for these things, and that's why Disney's going to keep charging for them, because they're going to keep charging whatever they can for them, and if as long as people keep paying for them, they're going to keep doing them. Like that's just how it's going to be, right? Like that's what you do as a business, right? So, but yeah, I think this whole thing is interesting. I like I said, I'm sad to see it go. I am sad to see it go because I like the convenience of it, but I also never thought that it was going to last forever. I'm trying to think though in my mind, what's the number for me, right? Like, so is it an hour and, an hour wait and the cost is $10 to skip the line? Do I do it? Maybe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what my math is on this. And maybe it'll just be at the time when I see it, but
I'll never spend more than an hour standing in line for any ride.
I agree.
Even 45 minutes is pushing it for me sometimes.
But at that point, though, if it's an hour wait and you really want to go on Rise of the Resistance, are you going to pay for it? And what's your line of what you would pay for? Yeah.
First go around, there's really not any line there. Because for me, it's also, I'm only paying for myself and my son because my wife won't ride it. She can't do rides that, or she has motion sickness issues. So that's not, so it's just me and my son. So there's really no price point there that's going to turn me away, at least for the first ride. Second or third ride, I may just decide not to do it. Like it, but, it depends. Like I think it's not a matter of what the price point is. I think it matters more about what kind of mood I'm in at the time.
I get that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be, I feel like they're probably wanting, this is what they're wanting. They're wanting the impulse buy, right? It's an impulse buy kind of item. It's like when you're at the gas station or you're like, you know what? I am going to buy a Snickers because it's right there in front of me. Like, I feel like it's kind of going to be similar. You're just going to be standing there like, man, I really want to go on this ride right now. It's an hour and a half wait and it's going to cost me $10. Yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean?
And yeah, that is, again, back to, like my brother's scenario, this is the only time you're here. There's a fear of missing out element to it. Yeah. And people are definitely going to look at it in the moment and go, well, I can either spend half of my day here or there's other things I want to do. So fine, I'll pay the, $30, $40, whatever it turns out to be for your family, get it done. And then, and then they'll probably never do it again. Right.
Well, yeah, I think it comes down to what is the dollar value you place on your time. Right. Yep. Like that's what it comes down to. Right. It's what is the value you place on that time. Right. And do you want to spend, a quarter of your day waiting in line for one ride? I don't know. Is it worth it at that point? I don't know. It's really going to be up to everybody. Right. But I do think it's not necessarily, I think it's worth it to pay for this ride. It's such a great ride and it's an experience. You're talking about an 18-minute experience, you can't even find rides that are that long anywhere, So it's just the idea of that. I mean, I think it's worth it for whatever cost it's going to be. I think they said in the initial announcement, I don't think it's going to be any more than $20, but who knows? Well, I mean, it's surge pricing, whatever. But
yeah, exactly. The price will be what it'll be in the moment.
Exactly. So but I mean, and they built a gigantic queue line for this ride. So, I mean, even when you're doing the virtual queue and you walk through the queue line, it's just like, it is a huge queue line and super detailed though too. Like it's almost part of the experience. We talked about this, I think, with Flight of Passage before, where it's like kind of a bummer when you are fast passing, Flight of Passage because you miss like all of the cool queue that they have there. The
same thing with Smuggler's Run is they're like leading into Smuggler's Run. You hear, dialogue stuff. You're kind of, you're looking at things and all that. So yeah, skipping that for a fast pass, you're right. They did design the queue with the intent of people standing in the queue, and that does factor into the choice is, maybe I'll do it once but again, the threshold is if it's going to be 2 hours plus, no, definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I wonder if we talked about that enough.
Yeah. I think Damon's already left at this point because we
did lose Damon. Yeah, we did. I really tried to put all the stuff within what I thought his time period would be that he'd be interested in. So, I've been trying to do that because we have Damon for limited amounts of time. He's very, very busy right now with kids. He's explained it on the show before, but we appreciate that we're able to get this hour of time. So
yeah.
It's
tough. And really, I know we said a long time ago that we were going to keep this to an hour, and that's never happened. But yeah, it is.
Happened in the very beginning, though, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, when we first made this change, but yeah, whatever. It's our show. We can talk as long as we want.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
There's no limitations to this for us. I mean, we can really literally talk however long we want to. So we do.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some restaurants, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of food stuff. And I put all the food stuff at the end. So much food stuff that came up this week. The biggest one, well, not the biggest one, but one of the bigger ones is Steakhouse 71, which will be opening, what date? October 1st, like everything else.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocker. It looks really nice. I read that they were doing like a 70s vibe, which is, makes sense, obviously. Because 71, refers to the date that the resort was open, right?
Yeah, and it's very much this is a steakhouse menu. Like this takes me back to I grew up in the 80s, but steakhouses are still a thing around here for sure. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, there's just something about getting steak with Yorkshire pudding and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very much like you can kind of customize your meal too, right? So
yeah.
And I've talked about this before. I'm not really a red meat eater, right? So, but I will definitely have it when I want to, when I'm at a nice place.
Every once in a while, it's okay. Like I'll go for a prime rib every now and then, but yeah, it's not all the time.
Yeah, it's just not my favorite thing. I'm not a big meat eater, so I would have it though. But I mean, this stuff looks good though. I'm just looking at some of the entrees and they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner here too. So, and one of the things that looks like they kept from the wave was the bacon and eggs. I think that was one of the things that everybody used to talk about. Was the bacon and eggs. I never went to the wave. I don't know if you ever did, but I
never got a chance either. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd always heard about the bacon and eggs. So I think it's the same. Someone can correct us though. I could be wrong. But breakfast menu looks good. I noticed this menu has no prices on it. Did you notice
I wouldn't.
that? Yeah. I'm sure it has it on the actual website, but it's funny on the Parks blog, they didn't include any prices, but, let's see here. Oh, they got the cake, the 15-layer whiskey-infused chocolate cake, chocolate mousse, and raspberries, 1 layer for every Flora Contemporary. So that's cool.
That's okay.
Yeah, see what they did there?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at sides. So you do your entree, and then you get 1 side and 1 sauce, which is kind of nice. Garlic mashed potatoes, au gratin potatoes, macaroni and cheese, cream spinach, seared brown. I'd want garlic mashed potatoes, au gratin potatoes, and mac and cheese. I'd want all 3 of those.
See that red wine glazed mushrooms would be that's what I would want. But yeah, the prime rib and Yorkshire pudding would be my pick too.
Yeah.
And whipped horseradish cream. Oh, that would be good.
No, I'm out on that.
You don't do horseradish?
No, I don't do horseradish. No.
Oh, I love horseradish. It's
really
yeah.
I'm not a horseradish fan.
Prime rib with horseradish, so good.
They also have a little lounge too with some lounge food. So the crab cakes, loaded mac and cheese with bacon and jalapenos, peanut butter and jelly wings. Not a thing that I would think would be good, but maybe it is. I don't know. They look good.
I feel like, that kind of stuff is very hit and miss. I get they're trying to make something that stands out, but sometimes it feels like they go too far just experimenting, and yeah, it seems like a novelty, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to say too, they have a burger, and I don't eat burgers. I don't eat red meat, but that burger looks fantastic.
There's a couple of different burgers, isn't there? That you're right. That one it looks a little but
it looks amazing.
I thought they did like a chicken one as well. Or
did they? I don't think I saw that one.
Or maybe that was on the lunch menu.
I'm just looking at the picture.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the first picture, not the first picture, but the first food picture that's on here of that burger. It just looks. I don't even know what's on it. I should look at what's on it because it looks amazing.
That's the stack burger. Signature blend of beef,
aioli,
cheese,
lemon aioli, red onion, house-made pickles on a brioche bun.
Yeah. And as much as I can't eat cheese, this gourmet grilled cheese looks appetizing too. I wouldn't eat it, but yeah, Gruyere, smoked Gouda, shredded pork belly, caramelized onions, and arugula. So it's
okay. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good looking stuff on this menu, I have to say.
You know what I like about this is like, I know the Wave was definitely a good restaurant and I like the fact that, this is the contemporary resort and this menu is, it feels very contemporary, right? Like it does fit the theme of the resort.
Very themed.
Yeah. It's themed in that, it definitely looks like, a nice steakhouse. It's all very, like what you would expect going to a place named the Contemporary Resort.
Well, I also do I like all of the little references in here too, right? So for example, like they have like a cocktail that's inspired by the Florida wetlands. They have a lily pad garnish on one of them in honor of Lily and Disney, right? They have a Disney family of wines, which is a collection of wines with personal connection to the Disney name, which is cool. I mean, it's just some interesting little things that they did in this restaurant that are kind of neat references, Mm-hmm. So, and even some of the menu items, like one of the breakfast items is Walt's hash. Prime rib hash. Yeah. Like stuff like that is kind of cool. I like it. So this is a place that I might check out now. Like I hadn't planned to check it out when it was the Wave, even though, I feel like the Wave is one of those places that had its fans, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's like there were some people that were really big fans of the Wave, but it wasn't a place where everybody was like, oh, you have to go there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There were just people that were into it and, you could go anytime and check it out. But it wasn't a place that was like a hard to get reservation,
Yeah. And like I said, I think that this is kind of better realigning it with the contemporary and giving people some reasons to go and maybe try it out because of the fact that it's no longer the Wave, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's dumb. Like I know it sounds silly to say, well, because it's not the Wave, that's the reason to check it out. But I think it's just more bringing it back into, hey, this is, the contemporary has some, some fine dining in it.
Yeah.
Right. Which people may have overlooked before.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, the Wave, always kind of... I'm not going to say it felt out of place in the contemporary, but this just feels like it fits more in the contemporary than the Wave.
To me, the Wave sounded more like a bar.
Yeah. Well, it kind of was, right?
Yeah, I never wanted to go there because it was like, well, I'm not... I want to go have a meal, but if this is like a bar, I don't necessarily want to go here with my family, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also just noted it said subtle sightings of the beloved orange bird and citrus groves. So the orange bird is apparently built into the decor here, which is kind of cool too. It's just a neat idea. And I think the menu came out better than most people thought and it looks really good. I think a lot of people are into this. So maybe I'll check it out.
But first, you need to go to Space 220.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this right now, I have already woken up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning to book this because reservations are available September 20th. That's when this episode comes out. So I have already got my alarm set up early. I mean, I'm still anticipating not getting it, especially since I'm booking for 6 people. I also want to mention too, that I have not consulted with the 6 people, with the 5 other people, I guess 4 other people my wife knows, that I'm going with, that I'm doing this. I'm literally just going to book this and be like, you can come if you want. If you don't want to, I'll just take you off. But we're going.
That's the best way to do it.
Right? That's honestly, what I'm saying.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, 'cause
get
I'm
it
like,
done, and then anyone
Yeah.
that doesn't care, fine, but
we'll take you off the reservation. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm getting this done. This is happening, right?
Yeah.
Now, the problem I have here, right? I think I'm going to do lunch only because I'm only at Epcot for one day. I want to do food and wine stuff, right? So, like, I don't want to. I want to, eat around the world for the rest of the day. So I don't want to fill up just on stuff from Space 220.
And I guess the only difference between lunch and dinner is that dinner comes with a dessert, right?
Yeah, that seems to be the difference. Yeah, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're not paying for the dessert. Which,
Yeah.
for the 3 desserts, it's the lemon mousse, sticky toffee pudding cake, and chocolate cheesecake. There's no Tang anything on here. I'm a little disappointed.
There's a Tang drink.
Okay,
drink.
all right, okay, fine, fair.
Wait, here it is. Let's see. There's one called the Big Tang, and it's served with astronaut ice cream. I have to say, we predicted this back when this restaurant first got. We predict things all the time and are wrong all the time. But we said there's going to be astronaut ice cream and Tang involved in this restaurant.
Yeah,
and sure enough, there are several things. There's this Big Tang drink that does have Tang in it, and also astronaut ice cream. I got to find the full menu because this article. Oh, here it is. Okay. Because we can read what that actually is. What's in that drink?
This is an alcoholic drink, by the way. So under the atmospheric spirits is what they're called.
Oh, I got it. Yep.
Yeah, Stargarita, the Atmos Spritz, the Big Tang, Planetary Punch, and Celestial Cosmopolitan.
Yeah. So let's see. This is the Big Tang is what is it? Avion Silver. I'm not so bad with alcohol because I don't drink. Grand Marnier Tang infused agave nectar. That's interesting. Then grapefruit, strawberry served with astronaut ice cream. That one is, it's got all the astronaut-y stuff right in there.
See, I would want a non-alcoholic version of that personally, but
I mean, maybe you can. Maybe they can make it non-alcoholic. Let's see here. 0 proof. Okay, they have non-alcoholic ones. But
yeah, that's the thing is
Tang.
they do offer non-alcoholic drinks, but that's not one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
maybe they can do some for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. I expected it to be in food somewhere, but it's not in any of the food. But
yeah,
but it's interesting though because I saw people saying that they thought this place was pricey. And listen, it's a prefix menu, right? So you pay one price, and for lunch it's $55, and for dinner it's 65 or let me pull up dinner. It's $79. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
that's an expensive dessert.
Well, does dinner also include a drink?
I guess. Yeah, I guess not.
I don't know. Does it? It doesn't actually say what's included, does it?
Let me find it here.
It's got to be in there somewhere. But if it includes an alcoholic drink, it's not bad. But I'm just looking at these prices, and I'm like, these are not that more than a character dining price. And you're doing it. This is a unique dining experience, right? So, I get it. Like, I'm not. I don't think that this price is all that outrageous, personally.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the kind of stuff on the menu. So, it's calamari, salmon, steak, tuna. It's nothing. I mean, you can get a burger still if you really want, but I mean, I guess for me, I wouldn't, with all these other options, the burger's the last on the list for me. I mean, it is definitely meant to be, nicer dining, and also with the atmosphere and everything is, you're paying for an experience, not just, exactly. Like a sit down meal, right?
Well, and that's how I look at it too, right? So, like I say, it's not expensive. It's expensive, for a meal in general, right? Like it's by Disney standards, it's not that bad.
This is for me, we kind of look at over a trip. We'll either, do one or two, kind of expensive sit downs, or it'll be like, okay, we're going to one place that is like a really nice experience, and then the rest of the time is quick serve. Like to me, this would be like, we're gonna go here. This will be the one big meal that we have, and then the rest of the time it's quick serve or whatever, right? So
Exactly. Like I'm not going, I don't go to Chef Mickey's and pay the price I pay at Chef Mickey's and go, oh wow, this is fantastic food. Like I'm there for the experience, and this place is the ultimate experience in my mind, right? Like this has got to be the most. I can't think of any more heavily themed place than this one. Like I just can't think of anything that they've done that's more involved. Just with the elevator and the screens, and it's just. So over the top.
So here's an interesting thought exercise that I just realized is that you actually have 3 different experiences within Epcot. So you have the land, or you have Garden Grill, which is in the land, and that kind of experience with the rotating restaurant. You have the restaurant at the Living Seas, which the name is totally escaping me right now.
Coral Reef.
Coral Reef. Yeah. So you have land, sea, and now you have space as an experience, right?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's, that's awesome. I mean, I love the fact that they have it like that. I don't know if they purposely did that, but
I want to believe they did.
I want to believe they did too. But
it seems very,
seems intentional. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's jumping out to you on this menu that you're interested in? Like,
I'm curious. There's no pictures of it, but I want to see what that blue moon cauliflower is.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, right?
And then, the big things that stand out to me is, I would like the seared tuna and possibly the flat iron steak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coffee space rub, smashed fingerling potatoes. Was that Cabernet butter? And I have no idea what those last 2 words are. I'm not even going to try.
Actually, sorry. That I just realized I was looking at the lunch menu.
Yeah.
On the dinner menu, what is X2 duck?
Let me get over here. Wait, isn't the X2 the name of the ship in Mission Space?
I guess. Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
So they're doing a reference to Mission Space. Yeah. I love it.
But then I guess here, let's see if we can find out what's actually on it.
Roasted and confit crescent duck, butternut squash flan, Brussels sprouts, and orange glaze. So like, listen,
okay. Yeah.
If you look at these meals, like they are really nice meals, right? I mean, like these are not like, theme park fare. This is a signature dining experience, right? And I didn't expect anything different.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I expected.
Yeah, again, for the price, yeah, this isn't like going up to your quick service and getting whatever.
It's a signature dining experience, right? I mean, it's this is the kind of thing that you would, pay at a California Grill. I mean, listen, I know it's pricey, and everything at Disney's pricey. So I wasn't surprised by these prices. I thought it was not that far off from character dining, and seemed like you're getting a lot for the cost.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but so I think what you need to do is that tomorrow morning after this episode goes up, you need to follow up so that people know whether or not you got your reservation.
See if I actually got it.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling. If I had to have a confidence level between 1 and 10, I'm at like a -2, like of actually getting this. You know what I mean? Like I'm not feeling good about it, and I really don't want to wake up at. I usually wake up around 6 anyway, but I don't really want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get right on the app and do this. It's going to be tough, man. Everybody's going to be doing it. Like people have been waiting for this restaurant for a long time. I think there's a lot of anticipation here, and I think a lot of people are going to go after this. So yeah. So I don't know. I guess the dinner, by the way, does not include a drink. It doesn't say that on there. It just says, oh gosh, appetizer, entree, and dessert. So
yeah, that's what I thought. And of course the full menu is not loading for me now, but
still, you know what? That's still a lot of food. I just don't think it's that bad of a price. I'm just not. Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm taking it as this is, I know in your case, because you're having to balance between food and wine, it's, you have to kind of pull back on that. But to me, this would be like, this will be the one sit down that we do, like the one good sit down that we do for a trip. And then the rest of the trip is just quick service. Like,
well, if we were there for more than one day and we're going to be able to do food and wine at a different time, then I probably would do dinner.
yeah,
But I, at this point, it's like, I'll probably do as early of a lunch as I can. Like, if I can get like 11 o'clock, done. You know what I mean? Like, the earlier I can get, the better, because I don't want to fill up, because I want to eat around the world, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Get this done early, and then, for
and
the
then you
rest
can
of the
walk
day,
it off in World Showcase.
Yeah, I'm gonna be walking off more than just the eating, but we already talked about that. But yeah, I'm excited for this. And then I don't know if you saw too, there was a couple of the blogs. Looks like they got early access. I saw some walkthrough videos. They looked pretty great. I was pretty excited about them. So, I mean, I want to see it in person. Of course, I don't think anything's going to compare to video, especially since it's so dark in that place. You're not getting some good video.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see it all. I'm a little surprised they're doing a prefix menu. I don't know why they're doing that, but like, I look at it as like, if I go to be our guest, right? Like, I don't need to go to be our guest again. Like, but that's a prefix menu too. And I don't remember what the price is for that off the top of my head, but it's not cheap either, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway,
sorry, I'm going through the rest of our of the rundown here. We actually have quite a few more things to talk about.
So you're saying we need to move it on?
Yeah, I think we should. So I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on this, but the returning dessert parties is a good thing. There's dessert parties and dinner packages coming back with the 50th.
Yeah. So we could just say what they are, I guess, right?
Yeah, so I guess at a high level, you've got the celebration at the top, which is 50 flavors and fireworks at Disney's Contemporary Resort, Magic Kingdom 50th fireworks dessert party, the pre-party, and then the same dessert party with treats and seats. So the difference here is that one of them is you go. I assume it's going to be it's at Tomorrowland Terrace. You go and you have the pre-fireworks dessert party, and then they take you to a viewing area in the Plaza Gardens to watch the show.
Yep.
And then the other one is you actually get a seating spot at Tomorrowland Terrace to watch the 50th.
So wait, is that going to be like the same party? Like, meaning like, are they going to have the same crowd, and then they're just like right before the fireworks going to walk out half the people and the other half are going to stay? Like,
so the way that they did this previously was the lower area in Tomorrowland Terrace where you can actually see the castle. That's like the sit down area, and then there's an upper area that's further back. Like there's a walkway, and then there's an area behind it. That's where the people that were going to be escorted out to the garden area, that's where they sat. So they actually separated the two different parties. Like, they're both in Tomorrowland Terrace, but they're divided. And then, right. You walk out into the other area, show your wristband, and go sit in the garden.
I have to say, though, like, I did the fireworks party from Tomorrowland Terrace the one time. It's not the best view of the firesworks, honestly. There's like trees blocking your view and like other stuff. Like, I'd much rather be in the plaza. Yeah,
I agree. But don't, we shouldn't say this too loud, because then they'll figure out that they can charge more for that. But because usually the pre-party's cheaper, right?
Yeah, they should charge more for that. That's a better experience, except you have to stand.
No, don't say that.
There's a third. Is there a third fireworks party too?
There's the after party.
party.
Yeah, so this is the other side of it, where you go and watch the show, and then afterwards you go to the I'm guessing it's the same area that the pre-party's in, where you can go and sit down and have the dessert party, which actually that might be an interesting
option.
Yeah, because now, like, we always
that one's probably cheaper, I'm assuming, than the other ones, right? Because you don't have the reserved space, you're just coming in afterwards.
Yeah, and I think, for the after party, the thing that I would like about that is I always hate getting out of that area after the party, because it's always really crowded, right? So to have somewhere where you can kind of go sit down, have some snacks and relax, might not be a bad thing.
Yeah. I think that's a good option. It sounds like a logistical nightmare, to be honest with you, but at the same time, they probably, I'm assuming the the during and the after party are all the same food. right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
right. So they probably just have the same food coming out for a couple hours.
Yeah. So the dessert party area, like it was a central area that everybody came to for all their stuff. But then, your table was in a different area depending on which.
No.
Party
I guess I just mean the 3 different parties probably have all the same food. So logistically, they probably are just like, oh, we have one menu. Like, they're not changing up the menu. It's all the same stuff, right? So,
right.
Yeah. All right. So then there's a fairy tale fireworks, FERRY tail fireworks, a sparkling dessert cruise. So it's a cruise out for Disney Enchantment. Looks like there's like activities on here. So what?
Yeah, I'm reading this. Kids can participate in an ultraviolet scavenger hunt
on a boat.
Yeah, I'm guessing they probably have some phospholuminescent paint or like things you can. Oh, okay. So if you shine an ultraviolet light over on the shore, you may see something, right? So
I'm getting it now. I'm thinking like it was one of the pontoon boats that we did on like the private one. They're actually using one of the ferries.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So this is like they can actually do a scavenger hunt. I'm like, how can you do a scavenger hunt in a pontoon boat? But okay, cool. So there's like make your own mousse, key lime tarts, cupcakes, beverages with and without alcohol. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is good. It's again, the fact that these things are all coming back is just the next sign of more normal, right? And then these next couple are, I don't remember this being a thing with the previously at Epcot, but so there's a Rose and Crown fireworks dining package and a Spice Road dining package. So you get a meal and then you get a viewing place for Harmonious from either Rose and Crown, which is around the England pavilion, or Spice Road, which is Morocco, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they used to have the dessert parties for Illuminations, right? But I'm trying to remember if they had anything for Rose and Crown, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't remember there being anything specific to Rose and Crown.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, this is good news. I'm excited that this stuff's coming back. I don't think I'm going to do any right now, but I might. Who knows?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Right now, it's, maybe not, but I like the fact that we have the option for this again. And I know, like, for us, we're not going until February. This will be part of our discussions is, do we actually look at doing a dessert party again? Also, the nice thing about these dessert parties, and they may even be more popular right now, is that they do control the amount of people that come into them, right?
Sure,
so,
yeah.
So if you have concerns about too many people being packed in an area, this may be a good reason to do one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I got to laugh about this next one, right? So Disney's been doing this thing lately, and I kind of love it. When, like, one of the Disney blogs posts something, they, like, immediately come out and refute it, right? But, like, do it in a way where it's not like they're immediately refuting it, you know what I mean?
But basically, the rumor starts, and then they come and they stomp all over the rumor and go, nah, this is actually what it is.
Yeah, this is what's actually happening. So what came out and spread across the Disney universe was that the Finding Nemo musical was done. Permanently done. Now, to be fair, I think this came from an Instagram post from one of the people that was in it, had posted that it was over, right? So I think that's where the news originated. So it's a legitimate source of information, right? One of the people in it is saying that it's done, right?
Which, the thing that I take from that is, individual cast members saying that something is done. Their role may be done within something, but that doesn't mean that it's done. Like,
exactly.
But so people love taking, a cast member said this, so it's, authoritative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Disney comes out a couple days later and says, no. Finding Nemo the musical is done in its current form, but we're making a new one. We're reimagining the show, and it will debut in 2022. So, listen, I'm not going to lie. When I heard this was closing, I was sad because it's a show my wife and I have enjoyed. I think it was a really quality show. With the puppets, and the songs were really good in it. It was funny. It was fun. So I was a little sad that it was going to close because I don't even think we got to take my daughter to it, right? Like, and I know she would really like it. So I was a little bummed by that. But I'm glad to hear that it's coming back, and I'm glad to hear that they're going to keep some of the songs, because all the songs in that show were written by the Lopez's, right? Of Frozen fame, right? So, it's, they're good songs. It's a good show. So I'm glad to see it's coming back. I do think it's interesting that they said they're still in the early stages, but it's coming out in 2022. It's odd to me, but it is also like, I also looked at it too, where if they were going to close it permanently, at least maybe that means that something new is coming in, right? But obviously they're announcing that something is new and familiar is coming in, right?
Yeah. Which, I think this whole coming out of the pandemic, it is giving them an opportunity to look at things and, thinking about, the Finding Nemo, the musical, it's been there for, a lot of these shows, they've been there for years. They've been around, 5+ years. And it's not a bad thing to refresh those every once in a while, kind of like the previous conversations we've had about, giving people a reason to come back and, see something new. But, this is kind of walking that line between, it's familiar, but it's also something new. So, yeah. And of course people will have their, their opinions on it. They may say, the new show isn't as good as the old one or whatever.
Sure.
So
by the way, the show ran for not 15 years because it never reopened from the pandemic. So it started in 2006. So let's say 14 years.
Yeah. So, anything longer than 5 years, it kind of hits a point where it's just there, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, it's, I think it's fine that they're giving it a fresh coat of paint, so to speak. I'll be honest, I've never really liked Finding Nemo, and I've had no desire to go and see the musical. But
wait, the movie? You don't like the movie?
No, I don't. It's not one of my favorites. And yeah, like I said,
hot takes from Trevor.
Yeah, we always passed on it, but I always appreciated it because, it was in that area near Everest and Dino Land. So we always knew that, as the musical was going in, that was sucking up people from the surrounding rides, so it could let us get onto, Everest and onto the Dino World and stuff like that. That's easier. So,
yeah.
So it's not that I have no desire to see the show, but I appreciate the fact that it's there.
There you go. Maybe you should check it out one time.
Maybe, but I would have to convince, my son's not going to sit through it, and my wife doesn't care for Finding Nemo either, so that'll be a hard sell.
Dude, what is with the Finding Nemo hate in your house?
We don't hate it. It's just it's just not, we've all watched it, and it's just kind of,
it's going to be the meme this week.
Yeah. Show me how terrible I am for not liking Finding Nemo.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm glad they're going to put something new there. That's great. So, but we're still missing a lot of shows. Indiana Jones hasn't come back. Fantasmic hasn't come back, right? When is Fantasmic going to come back? That's my big question. That's the thing I want to know.
And we've said this before. Fantasmic is probably the biggest show in terms of production. If you think about it, fireworks, actors, all that kind of stuff. It's a big show, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And they may
I want it to come back.
They may be doing the same thing with Fantasmic. Something people need to prepare themselves for is that Fantasmic may come back in a new form as well.
Which might not be a bad thing. I think there's some updating that can be done there. They did a lot of cool updates to the Fantasmic in Disneyland, right? So, there's some cool things we can do, at the Disney World one. So I hope so.
It's a very different vibe. So okay. So when you're standing in Frontierland in Disney World, you know how you're kind of looking out over towards Tom Sawyer's Island and you've got the rivers of America. Imagine watching Fantasmic there.
Yeah, that's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, it's different, but it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Still, because I've seen both shows. I've seen Fantasmic on both coasts, and it's great, but it's weird, literally having them block off part of, there it's New Orleans Square, but that Frontierland area, just blocking that off so you could do a nighttime show.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, because it actually Maleficent actually appears on Tom Sawyer's Island. There's a stage over there.
Yeah, that's just kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't imagine that.
Well, I've seen it. It's
I have to go check that out.
Yeah, it's different.
So another thing coming back too, and we actually talked about this like, I don't know, a month or so ago. And we were speculating on whether the Candlelight Processional was going to come back. Well, speculate. We don't have to, we don't have to speculate anymore. Right.
Yep.
So we know now that it is coming back November 26th. It seems like they don't have anybody booked yet to do to actually do the narration. So
or they just haven't announced who.
Well, they said, yeah. Yeah, they said they haven't announced anybody. Yeah, they're still working to confirm the schedule of celebrity narrators. So,
right.
I guess we'll see what happens there. But I mean, look, this is again, it's just another nice. I did it once. That was all I needed to do. It was good. I did it with, I think we've talked about this before. I took my mom on, for her birthday, and I thought she would like this, which I was right. But it's not really my thing. Like, it's cool. It was good. It was really well done. I enjoyed it. But I'd rather be eating food and, going on rides. So
yeah. Yeah.
No offense,
it's a nice show, but not better than rides.
Yeah. Plus I can hear it. I could just stand behind the theater and listen to it. You know what I mean? Like I could just stand I guess in front of it, but I don't have to be in the theater. I mean, it's in the theater that's out, that's just open. So you can hear everything. I mean, so I'm glad it's coming back though. It's a great part of the holiday tradition at Disney World. So
yeah. So again, more signs of normal, and I think I've even seen people asking about like Hoop-Dee-Doo and stuff like that. I'm betting not for October 1st, but I'm betting over the next couple of months you're going to see more and more announcements of things returning, right? Like
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, right now the parks are dead, right? Like you see everybody posting that there's nobody in the parks. Part of that is because people are just waiting for the first, right? So,
totally.
I'm sure there's a lot more people that are coming after the first, right? So.
Yeah, I'm that there's the there's the one side where people are like, oh, it's great, I did everything I want to do, and in about 2.5 weeks from now, you're gonna see all the miserable this is stupid. I couldn't do anything. I was so busy.
Such long waits. Yeah, exactly. So the last thing I had on our list for the show was just a preview of the beacons of light on Spaceship Earth. Mm-hmm. And it's literally just one picture from Zach Riddley on Instagram. But I mean, this one picture
pretty.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
right?
It looks really good.
I mean, just the one picture by itself. And that's not even a motion. It's a still picture, but there's got to be some motion to this lighting, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, that twinkle, it looks. The weird thing is that when you look at it, in my head, I go, oh, they photoshopped that, or they, I feel like there's maybe some color enhancement going on, but I know full well that you're gonna stand there and look at this thing and be like, whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually think that this is the coolest thing of all the things they're doing for the 50th. Mm-hmm. It just looks awesome to me. And the cool thing about it is they can change it as it goes, right? I mean, they don't need to reinstall anything. If they want to put a different show on 6 months in, they can. I mean, they can do whatever they want with this thing.
Yeah.
And he described it as what I think he said called it visual poetry. Yeah. This visual poetry will forever change the way we experience EPCOT. So it's just, man, it just looks so cool.
You know what this this is probably going to sound dumb, but the first time I went to Disney World, the fiber optic lights that they had in the concrete. Yeah. Yeah. Being at Epcot at night and seeing that, just seeing the lights and then that kind of stuff, that's stuck with me way more than a lot of things. It's not to say I don't remember anything else that I did, but just standing there in those moments, that stuff stuck with me for years. And I feel like this is going to be the same thing. It's you're going to be standing in Future World or, anywhere near Spaceship Earth, right? And you're just going to get this experience, right?
That's the problem is I'm just going to want to stand there all night and stare at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause it seems like this is just going to be doing a show constantly, right? Like it's not like it's going to be like, hey, at 8:30, we're going to do a thing on Spaceship Earth. No, I think this is just going to be happening.
It's going to always be moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's amazing what they're doing here because the way that they built these lights to go across the lines of the triangles within the sphere are
it creates those stars, right? Like the
but it also creates like lines too. Like they can make shapes and stuff on here. I feel like it looks like they can control how bright the light is, right? So because some of the stars are bigger than others, right? So theoretically they could like make stuff with this, and even like the lights that are lower on this picture, and I'll include this picture out there, but just go look up Zach Riddley on Instagram, and it's the picture that's most recent. I mean, it looks like there's some stars, but then on the bottom, they're just like lit up different colors. There's like a gold, there's a purple, and there's a dark blue, and it's just like the way they have that where they can do different stars, but they can also just do colors that like is a dot of color. It's just amazing. It's one of the coolest things I've seen them do, I feel like, and I can't wait to see this in person.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting like almost like this is really almost like a TV screen now, right? Like if you think about it, it's a giant spherical TV screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Which that in and of itself is immensely impressive. And yeah, I can't wait to see it either. Like same as you, it's going to be hard not to just stand somewhere near Spaceship Earth and just stare at it. Right.
Yep. Exactly. 100%. Like I just want to, even at night, like when they just kind of like put random colors on it, it was still amazing. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
like
now
I said, that's going, like I said, for us, that was years ago, just, seeing even the most basic kind of effects that they could do, it was like, hey, this is really cool, and this is going to be. I'm jealous of like your daughter. I'm jealous of your daughter because she's gonna, her first experiences with Epcot that she's probably going to remember is going to be this.
Yeah, her brain's going to explode, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
or she'll be like, Dad, why are you making such a big deal about this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm so psyched to see this. It just seems so cool. I mean, like, I even used to get like freaked out, but like when they'd like laser the sponsor onto the Spaceship Earth, when they use like the
countdown
90s
clock for the for New Year's. Yeah.
Yeah, like just stupid stuff like that. And that technology is not even new, right? Like, and not that this is either. They just made these cool little lights that like they figured out how to make them all connected. I don't think they created anything new here necessarily, but I mean, maybe the shape of it and how it works, but
it's not new, but it's having the level of control that they have over it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right?
That's what matters. It's not that the lights are anything new or that, they've invented a new, type of show equipment. It's that they've evolved it to a point where the level of control here is going to be impressive.
Exactly. I mean, they can control each and every point of light in there, right? And there is a point of light in every single space, in every single space that they're in between the different triangles. So, I mean, man, it's cool. I'm just excited. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Epcot more than any other park on this trip. You food and wine, you got this, you got Space 220, you got Ratatouille. I'm all about Epcot for this trip coming up.
Cool. Well, I can't wait to see it. And, please, I'll plug it here in a minute when we do the wrap up, but, please get some of this stuff posted on YouTube and Instagram, because I'm sure, for those of us that can't get down there as quickly, we would love to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
All right. So to start off, if you guys ever want to reach us directly, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We still, we keep saying this. There's lots of great people that reach out to us. You guys will just share your stories. You'll ask us questions. Put in questions for the show, all that kind of stuff. Just drop us a line if you guys want to talk to us. Alternately, if you want to talk to us on Facebook, you can find us there as Welcome Home Podcast, and you can join the Facebook group, which is Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. and you can see all the discussion that goes on in there with, including memes that, our friend Jeremy likes to do. And, there's lots of other people in the group that put stuff out, Dan, shout out to Dan, Francisco, there's tons of people that are a part of the conversation here. And, you can join.
Someone's going to be sad you left them out now.
Well, that's just people off the top of my head that I remember seeing recently for posts, but no, there's lots of people in the group that post, and we appreciate you all. And, if you guys want to join a drama-free Disney group, that's the place to go, because, we're not like those other Disney groups.
We try not to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, if you guys, as we were just talking about, we're going to have some trips coming up here. So make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel and to the Instagram. YouTube is Welcome Home Podcast. Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. And also, if you want some merchandise, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out the shirts, mugs. There's fanny packs, and we'll be adding more stuff as we go along. So, it's good to pop in there every once in a while and see if there's something you would like to pick up for maybe your next trip that, you can wear on the trip and post pictures like so many of the people do in our group that, wear our merchandise, which is pretty crazy to me. Like the fact that, sorry, just to aside here.
An aside?
Yeah. It's, when I see people like, oh yeah, I'm wearing my Welcome Home merchandise or the Haunted River Country shirt, whether it's in or out of the parks, just the fact that we created something and people are wearing merchandise about it that's
very cool.
Yeah. It's cool. And it's so weird to me because I never thought I'd be doing this.
It's so funny because, this is a little inside, but, even just like the last trip I took, that little brief trip when I met up with a couple listeners, my wife was like, this is weird. Like, she's like, it's weird that people want to meet you. And I'm like, I know, I find it a little weird too. Listen, I'm not saying I find it weird that people want to do that. I just never in my life thought that anybody would want to just meet me because they listen to me talk about something. So.
Yeah. I like that, your significant other looks at it and goes, why would someone want to meet you?
That's exactly right. Yeah. She knows me. She listens to me every day. I'm not interesting.
Same thing. Yeah. No, I totally get it. And someday I hope to, meet some of our listeners on a trip down there, and, hopefully you guys will have your own merch. And, if you run into us, we also have hats. So you won't find those in the store.
Listen, we don't want to I'm not trying to say it's weird that you we love meeting up with listeners. It's very humbling and very cool. So I'm not saying that the fact that people want to meet us is weird. It's strange to me that anybody would want to do that for me.
Yes. It's hard to explain because we don't feel that we're people worth meeting, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going to throw me off is if anybody ever asks for my autograph, then I'm not going to know what to do. We're like, I don't have an autograph. You just here. High five.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Yeah. Autographing stuff is, I don't know.
Yeah. I no one's ever asked me for that. And I don't expect anybody to. Now that I mentioned it, though, somebody's going to, right?
Yeah.
Mistake. Okay.
But
anyway,
yeah, moving on. So we also have a Patreon if you guys would like to subscribe to that and help support the podcast. It's patreon.com/welcomehomepod. If you do subscribe to the Patreon, check out the different levels because we do actually have some exclusive merch to Patreon. So you'll see on there that we have the Patreon logo that you can get on t-shirts and stuff like that. So, I think it's pretty cool. So, please check it out. And last but not least, if you guys want to leave us a review on iTunes, please do so. We appreciate it. I know Tom, Damon constantly bugs Tom about us never getting past 4.5, but maybe if we got a couple more 5-star reviews, we could actually push it up to 4.6. So,
the reviews have been extraordinarily nice lately. So
yes, but Damon doesn't believe that we can make it past 4.5. So prove him wrong.
There we go.
Yeah.
So Also, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that says Disney and DVC. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to DVC Rental Store for sponsoring this episode and being our continued partners. We appreciate them. Go check them out like Damon's going to check them out. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl. Look out, here comes